Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm here to talk about how I schedule my podcast in order to grow my audience. So, a successful podcast is basically you need to have a content, and a content you need to have a calendar in order for you to be a little bit more organized, to know what topics you will talk about and what strategies I'm going to share you is actually going to help. Before actually having a podcast episode, let's say for the next episode, whoever is new here is probably kind of lost. In order to have a successful podcast, in order to have listeners, I see a lot of people in this group asking about how to grow the podcast listeners and how to grow downloads and plays. So first you need to do is to build an audience, and building an audience is just basically several ways of doing it. In order for people to actually listen, you need listeners. You need to know where are these audiences. So I'm going to share here, I took some notes, and I feel that it is essentially important to know exactly that the number one thing is very important to know is your audience and your niche. So ask yourself two questions that basically will a little bit help you understand how to do the podcast. So the first question is what does a podcast mean to you as a content creator? And if you're a business owner, what does a podcast mean to you as a business owner? If you can let me know in the comments. By the way, if you are watching this, let me know in the comments and let me know what does podcast mean to you as a content creator. And the next question is why should you put some serious thoughts into your own podcast? Now you know what it means to you as a content creator. Now, why should you post a content, even some thoughts into your podcast? Now, a lot of times, I'll just tell you, this is the time to take notes because it's very good information that I feel not a lot sharing in this group and not really understanding the concept of a podcast. Now, first, in order for you to understand what do you want to do, you need to define your audience. Now, you need to know exactly where they are, so you can promote it. But before even going to that step, you need to know how to choose a podcast niche that fits you, that fits your content. So for example, we're going to have a list of things that you like doing, talking about, the list of things that you know how to talk about, the list of things that you feel you are an expert talking about it. So by you choosing the right niche that fits you, it will be much easier to grow your audience this way. So in order to niche down, it's very important because that builds your authority, and people listen to authority. They don't listen just to anybody who just has a podcast that is not interesting. So people trust authority. And then niche focused podcast tends to attract more followers than a podcast that is not niche down. So, and then email marketing. Let's say, for example, you are genius in email marketing. So your podcast will be about email marketing products, email marketing tutorials, email marketing tips. This will be your niched podcast. Now, if you know digital marketing, you're not going to talk about email marketing. You're going to talk only about digital marketing. That is your niche. That's what your podcast is all about. If you're a social media marketing, that's exactly what your podcast is going to be attracting, people who want to learn about social media marketing. not email marketing, not digital marketing, not any marketing, but just social media marketing. Now, the point is for people to love what they hear, to love to listen to the authority, to know, okay, this is the person I want to listen to because he knows what he's talking about, she knows what she's talking about, and I can't wait for the next episode to learn more about social media. I'm just giving an example. It's not what you have to do. I'm just giving an example. My niche, for example, is careers. So I'm focused about people who are looking to get a job, who are looking to get promoted, who are looking to advance in their career. So I'm talking about salary raises. I'm talking about how to get promoted without experience. I'm talking about how to pass interviews, how to write a resume. And basically, this is all about what I'm talking. Careers, nothing else. Even though I know email marketing, even though I know podcasting, but it's not what I'm going to talk about in my podcast. Now, so in order to grow your audience, you basically need to know the podcast has to be niched down to that specific audience. So you need to build a content that is for that particular audience. So if your audience is email marketing, the content that should be in your episodes is only about email marketing and nothing else. Not social media, not digital marketing, but only email marketing. I'm just giving you that as an example. So if you're about cooking food, you're talking about only recipes, not health, not wealth, not anything else, but only about cooking styles and everything else. Now, picking the right niche is very important, so you can get motivated to just continuously talking about this topic and not changing next topic to something else. So talk about something that you love to do, something that you know how to do it with your eyes closed even. Okay, and you're just gonna stick to that and not change it. The next thing is, if you can't figure out what you know how to do, or you know your expertise, perhaps you have a wide range of expertise and you kind of like don't know how to put your podcast into a niche, and then you should do the following. By the way, before I continue, in the comments let me know your niche. Who is your target audience that your podcast is attracting? If you don't know, then this video is for you. You should listen till the end. Okay? So first you need to write down your interest and passion. So let's say you like cooking, you like drawing, you like designing, you like singing, reading voiceover, you like technology, you like probably speaking different languages. I'm just throwing out ideas because each and everyone in here is different. Each and everyone in here likes different things. So men and women like different things. So you should really write down a list of what you like doing, what you're passionate about, your hobbies even. Then what topics interest you? Do you like to talk about, I don't know, Kardashians? Do you like to talk about Netflix? Do you like to talk about Broadway shows? Maybe news? I don't know, current news about even COVID-19? I don't really care. But this is something that you love listening about this topic, okay? Once you know what topics interest you, then what industry you are most knowledgeable about, what industry that you like. Is it technology industry? Is it restaurant industry, hospitality? Is it education industry? So there are so many industries that people really know about. You know, if you're a makeup artist, I'm talking about women here, but for men, if you're a chef, you like cooking, baking, I don't know, this could be your expertise, and you can build your authority in that category. Now, once you are going to compile a list, I would say 5 to 10 potential niches. Okay, and then now this step is very important, because if you choose the wrong niche, then you are going to lose interest yourself. You're going to lose interest in continuing this podcast, and you would run out of ideas to keep your show going. And also you're going to lose listeners, and it will be very hard to grow your listeners. Now think about, now that you have the list, 5 to 10 list of niches that you are expert in, and now since you cannot talk in a podcast 5 to 10 niches, we have to narrow it down to one niche. So listen till the end until I tell you how to do that. So ask yourself, what problems can you solve for each list of the niches? What problems can you solve? Okay, and then the next thing, so let's say for restaurants, what problems can you solve? Maybe recipes, how to fix a recipe if it's not done right, or how to avoid certain recipe books that don't really put down the right recipe, or if you are in the music industry, how to avoid certain voice pitches. I'm giving examples in order for you to understand how to narrow down your niche. Now, in order to know what type of problems can you solve, you're probably thinking, okay, I don't know exactly what problems is out there. Go to free resources I'm going to give you right now. Go to Quora. Quora.com has a lot of people asking questions to their problem. So you go to the list and look at the niche and see, and type that niche down and see what questions comes up. And that's what you're going to talk about. You're going to answer these questions in your next episode. Now, then you can check on Yahoo Answers. Yahoo has a lot of people who are answering the questions that people put there. So this is your niche. You go to that niche that you have, maybe restaurant, maybe makeup, I don't know, anything that you have on the list, and then you're answering those questions not in Yahoo, not in Quora, but in your next episode. Okay, that's where the content comes from. Now, people that are asking questions in Quora and Yahoo might be your potential niche. They might be the ones who are going to be listening into your podcast. Then the social media groups, like here, right? We're in social media group, we're in Facebook group, and we are in this group because we all use Anchor, right? This is type of groups that you have to go to. So let's say somebody in here said that he is doing history, and he joined a lot of history groups, and then he shared his episodes and his podcast in those groups. So if you are a restaurant talking about recipes, then join those groups that are talking about recipes, talking about breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, whatever that is. If you're talking about technology, then join those technology groups. If you are social media, join about those social media groups. There are plenty and tons out there talking about Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, what's not. Okay, so that's where you're going to see, where you're going to attract your audience. The next thing is Google Suggest. So in Google Suggest, what Google Suggest is, for those who don't know, is when you go on the search on google.com and you type a word, and all of a sudden there is a drop down of so many suggestions that Google gives you with that word, right? So with that Google Suggest, it gives you kind of like what people out there are searching. So if you're a restaurant, if you're a recipe, if you're technology, whatever that's your subject is, you're going to look into it and see what people are actually searching for. This can be your next episode content. Now the next thing once you already established a list of niches, you established questions, the problem solving that you can solve for each niche. The third thing is figure out your competition. Okay, now there is a huge competition in every niche out there. So I'm in a career niche, and there are tons of podcasts about careers, and there will be tons of podcasts about restaurants, tons of podcasts about technology, tons of podcasts about history. So there will be so much competition, and you will need to find a way to stand out. How? So let's say I'm in a career niche. I'm going to go to my competition, and I'm going to listen to what episodes are out there that this person did, right? And the next thing will be, can I do better than this topic? Can I do this topic, but to do it in a better way? So that's your goal. You go to your competition, and you are going to search their topics, search their episodes, and try to do it better than what they did. That's what's going to make you stand out. Now, check your competitors' podcast, check their followers, and then try to connect with your topic and try to make it better. Okay? Now, the last thing, now I'm almost done. So the last thing is choose the right niche that will keep you motivated. Okay? So that is not going to stop the episodes and then you forget about your podcast for a couple of months. It shouldn't be like that. So look at your list and choose only one niche that you can solve a problem, that you can help continue with the podcast for much longer. So you should come up with so many ideas in order to get that. Now, before building an audience, you have to identify what your podcast is about. If you are subscribed to my email list, I talk about so much value on how you can grow your podcast. It's really going to be not for everyone. For those who are interested, I have a script that I actually gave you. If you don't have one, you should get one. A script is all about how to land speakers in your podcast, guest speakers in your podcast. And I had already 500 on my list in just 2 weeks. And the way I did it, I used only one script that I came up with. And my calendar is really booked for the whole entire year. If you want that script, let me know, #script, and I'm going to send you the link in order for you to download it. And if you want to sign up for my newsletters email, let me know in the comment and I'll share you the link and I'll add you to my newsletter email. So for those who had actually subscribed to my email list, it's free. It's nothing really you need to buy anything. You need nothing. You just sign up to my email list, and in the email list for this week I sent is 3 ways to organize your podcast content. It's really crucial to understand if you want to be a successful podcaster, you need to know how to organize your content. So if you want that email, please let me know in the comment below and I'll sign you up. See you next time. Hopefully I can do it next week as well. Bye.